What's going on, YouTube? My name is Stefan Washington. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Reckless Logic. Alrighty guys, do not want to waste anybody's time, so let's get straight into this video. Alrighty guys, so the topic I'm going to be doing today, before I start, by the way, I have commentary. This is the commentary video. I will be talking about Donald Trump. Now, disclaimer, if you are a huge Donald Trump supporter, I highly suggest that you stay on this video. If you are not a Donald Trump supporter, you can still stay, but this is mainly for Donald Trump supporters. Now, I do know I will not be able to influence or change the minds of individuals that got their minds set and have malicious intent. But however, I do want to be able to inform, educate, and bring awareness to people that may not know about the kind of irresponsible things that Donald Trump has said and done. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is Donald Trump's impeachment. Now, I've actually seen videos of veterans that are actually in agreement with Donald Trump's impeachment. Now, however, I cannot say all veterans only because I do not have statistical facts, but however, I can only go by certain videos that I have seen, so I cannot say all veterans. Now, allegedly, Donald Trump has taken foreign assistance for his election, and one of the veterans stating that in the Constitution, accepting any type of foreign aid is an impeachable crime. And the veterans are also mad because they had to take an oath. Now, for those who do not know, the oath basically says that they are to defend and protect the Constitution against all enemies that are foreign and domestic, and they have to live by that oath. And since they had to live by that oath and live their life by that oath, Donald Trump should have done the same. And since he had broken or violated that oath, they feel like he should be handled accordingly, and people should not sweep this situation under the rug because it is a danger to the system. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Donald Trump Jr. Now, Donald Trump Jr., he was in an interview and he was doing, I believe, he was doing a book signing or an interview for a book named Trigger. Now, however, do not quote me on the book and the trigger part because that is really not too important for this situation. Now, however, this is the part I want to bring attention to, is that when he was doing the book signing and the interview, all of a sudden some protesters decided to come into the room and start booing him to the ground. After a while, him and the protest decided to have dialogue. Now, during this conversation, whatever, Donald Trump Jr. made it very clear that Republicans, they want to do Q&As, they want to have dialogue, they want to answer the question that people have, that people desire. But however, the problem is that they end up having a situation where protesters, or aka anti-Trump, or aka anti their cause, come in and start making spreading nonsense and spreading hate, is what he claimed. Now, however, for his perspective, that may be 100% true. Now, but however, from my perspective, I think that's quite hypocritical, only because you say that these protesters or these ops are spreading hate and nonsense, but however, your father is doing the exact same thing. Now, for certain people, they are not able to wrap their head around the idea of what I mean by Donald Trump has spread hate and spread nonsense, which is okay. But however, be prepared in this video for me to shed light, expose the actions that Donald Trump has demonstrated, and explain the reasons why some of his actions or all of his actions are gaslighting and very disrespectful, and why people are disgusted by them. And by that, I mean this. The way that Donald Trump moved has always been a controversial thing, is that if you pay attention to the antics that he has pulled throughout his election, they should always give you the answer that you need. Now, let's just talk about MAGA. Now, for those who do not know, MAGA means Make America Great Again. Now, the reason why this is such a very disrespectful term, now, just hold on right quick. I understand. It sounds wonderful. It sounds good. It sounds empowering. It sounds like everything that it sounds like the American dream. But however, that slogan right there is the complete opposite of what America should stand for. But if you want to be quite honest, then it's probably one of the slogans that actually explains America's history. My question is, when was America ever great? Now, was it great when black people were slaves? Was it great when women weren't even able to have jobs, serve the country, be able to have their freedom? Was it great when homosexuals, the LGBT, were getting killed? Now, I want you to be able to have that question in your mind and really answer it. When was America ever great? And I want you to be able to make that question food for thought. The racism that Donald Trump has displayed throughout his whole election and presidency is very much what we're going to start off with. Let's just get into it. Alrighty, so let me just be very clear, is that yes, Donald Trump has never said out of his mouth, I hate black people, I dislike Spanish people, I dislike these certain type of individuals. But however, the way that I am and the way that I feel like a lot of people should be more in tune with is that I don't pay attention to the words that come out of your mouth. I don't even pay attention to your actions. But however, I do pay attention to your patterns. I do pay attention to your behavior, because you may say one thing and that may just be that one-time thing. You may do one action and that may be a one-time action, but however, your behavior patterns will give me the answer that I'm looking for. So, yes, he never said out of his mouth anything like, I hate black people, I hate Spanish people, I hate this type of people. Now, he said some very controversial things, but however, I'm going to get deep in depth on those type of situations and demonstrate and break them down for people to fully understand, for those who don't seem to get it. All right, so one, we're going to start off with the audience, the people that he attracts. Now, one thing that people always say is that birds of a feather flock together. You are the company that you keep. So if you are spilling and saying very, for instance, if I'm Donald Trump and I'm saying very gaslighting, disrespectful, homophobic, racist type of rhetoric. Now, this is just a hypothetical thing. If I'm saying that type of rhetoric and I'm supposed to be running as a mayor or as president or as some type of leadership role, I'm only going to attract people that only think the way I do. That's only going to make sense, because you're not going to attract people that have different views than you do. However, you probably will have them at rallies protesting, but however, they're not going to vote for you. They're not going to see eye to eye with you. So yes, you are attracting the certain audience, and the fact that he hasn't said anything when his audience put up the KKK symbols and stuff like that, he doesn't say anything. And sometimes, well, let me rephrase that. Every time you are silent, a lot of times you are okay with what is going on. If you are not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. And that is the issue that Donald Trump has. Now, like I said before, the whole Make America Great thing. Now, actually, there are actual pictures of the KKK using that slogan on their banners. So even if you do not stand for that, apparently the KKK believe that you stand for that. So that speaks volumes into all the racism and all the stuff that he demonstrates throughout his campaign. Now, the homophobia. Now, Donald Trump, he attempted. Now, I do not know if it actually went through, or is it in the process of going through, or it has been denied. But Donald Trump has attempted to put a trans ban on the military. Now, this is what I have to say about that, is that it does not matter if anybody who is somebody, which should be everybody, every living thing on this earth, if they want to serve this country and serve in the military, they should be able to do so, especially if their record is clean, they are a law-abiding citizen, and they have done nothing but been good and have not caused any type of issue. They should be able to serve in the military. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the discrimination. And this also going to piggyback off the whole situation when I was talking about the racism and the whole audience and the people that you attract. his vice president. His vice president has a big thing when it comes to homosexual LGBT community. He has a big thing when it comes to that. Now, the reason why I say this is a big thing, when you are president, 9 times out of 10, your vice president is going to have similar ideas when it comes to certain issues. Now, yes, Donald Trump has not said out his mouth, I hate gays, I hate blacks, I hate this, I hate that. He has not come out of his mouth and said that. But however, the vice president is more vocal when it comes to certain issues like that. And the issue is that he's your vice president and you're the president. So which means that you guys 9 times out of 10 have similar views. But however, the vice president just more vocal about them. The misogyny and the patriarchy that was displayed throughout his campaign. Now, I'm going to talk about the whole grab a girl by the I'm going to talk about that comment right there. That displays so much disrespect towards women. And the reason why this kind of pisses me off and kind of pissed me off at the moment is because a lot of men were laughing at the comment. They thought it was hilarious. They were just living it up. They thought it was hilarious. They thought it was the best joke of the world. And the thing that really pisses me off is that people only think it's funny until it's their sister. People only think it's funny until it's their mother. And people only think it's funny until it's somebody that they know, a close friend. Border control. Now, this is when we're actually going to get into some things. Now, Donald Trump has used propaganda in his election. Now, for those who do not know what propaganda in a short, condensed version of the definition basically means when you take information and you use it to push your narrative, and 9 times out of 10 that narrative is a bad or either a false narrative. Now, the reason why this is so dangerous is because this is the same tactic that Hitler used to influence individuals to do what he wanted to get done. Now, the propaganda that Donald Trump uses is that are for Hispanic individuals, saying that these individuals are criminals, they're terrorists, they're taking all the jobs. And this is a very toxic tactic that he is using, because this can influence the minds of other people, of his supporters, and then wonder why you have people showing up driving miles to go to a Walmart to shoot it up and shoot up all these other places, because you're feeding them this type of toxic rhetoric. Now, I want to debunk some of these distractors, aka these labels that Donald Trump has put on a whole demographic of individuals. Now, the reason why I'm calling them distractors is because they are used to distract from the real issue at hand. But we're going to get into that a little later. Now, before I do that, I do want to make this clear of why this is so toxic. Now, the reason why putting a label on a whole demographic of individuals is so toxic is because when you do that, it makes it so easy for people to disrespect, degrade, and dehumanize individuals. So when you sit up there and you say Hispanics are criminals, Hispanic are terrorists, people low-key and high-key in their mind, put in their mind that all Hispanics are criminals, they're all terrorists and stuff like that, and it makes it very easy for people to disrespect them, and it's a very dangerous state to be. Hence, we have history of people putting labels on individuals and it not going well, aka black people. So when you put a label on an individual, it can go down and it can make situations worse. Now, Donald Trump called Hispanics criminals and terrorists. Now, let's just go with that narrative. They're criminals and terrorists, and you also call them illegals, which means they're not able to be over here. And then he also said that they are taking all the jobs. So this is my question. If they are taking all the jobs, who are giving them all the jobs? Because you said that they are illegal. You said that they are criminals, they are terrorists. If that is the case, 9 times out of 10, especially for some jobs, you get a background check here and there. So which means that they cannot apply for no high profile jobs. And you said that they are illegal. So which means that they don't own no establishment, they don't own no business, so who are giving them the jobs? Now the reason why I talk about the distractors, aka him calling them criminals and terrorists and stuff, those are distractors because it distracts you from the point that of them getting the job. But however, it's the whole thing of who is giving them the job. That is where people need to pay attention. Who are giving these individuals, aka from their standpoint, these illegals, their jobs? That is my question that I want answered. It's just like the whole gun situation. You sit up here and we talk about how we have a big gun type of dilemma, but however, what you do, you go and you buy more guns. That right there does not make any sense to me. You complain and we talk about how quote unquote Hispanics are taking all the jobs, they're illegal, this, that, and the third, but however, you're still giving them the jobs. So which means that you are passing up on other citizens that know their rights, and you give it to an illegal that probably just got to America. And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful, I'm just trying to prove a point, but you give it to an illegal immigrant who probably doesn't know the Constitution or know their rights, a job, and it paid them a few cents off a dollar. What people have to realize is this, is that yes, we do have a country. Yes, our country is the land of opportunity. Yes, we do have a process to entering this country. But what people have to realize and show empathy is that these individuals, these quote unquote illegals, these people that we look as people that broke the law and just jumped over here and just sucking up our opportunity from other people's standpoint. These people are fighting for their lives. These people are fighting for the lives of their children. What we have to realize is that when our lives are in danger, we are willing to go the extra mile. If they had it so good in their own country, they would be in their own country. They're coming here for their children. They are coming here for themselves. So I feel like people need to show a little bit more, if not a little bit, a lot more empathy for people that came over here illegally, only because they are fighting for their lives. It comes down to this. We need to show more empathy for these individuals, because I feel like as citizens of America, on average, an average individual, now this is for an average individual, we know struggle, but we don't know real struggle. We know pain, but we don't know real pain. We don't know the idea of if we say the wrong thing because of where we live. We don't know the idea of if we say the wrong thing, we're getting our head chopped off. We don't know the idea of if we do the wrong thing, which is probably not even a big thing, but if you just go out of line just a little bit, you and your children are getting hung. We don't know that type of feeling. So you have to realize these people are fighting for a better life. And I feel like we need to be a little bit more empathetic for those individuals. Now we're going to talk about hate groups. Now we're going to talk about the whole Trump supporters, like I said before. Now this is going to piggyback on the whole idea of the KKK and stuff like that. Now, like I said before, Donald Trump has never said, I hate black people, I hate gays, I hate this, I hate that. He never said those things. He has said very controversial and gaslighting things, but he never said to the extreme of I hate and fill in blank of whatever you think needs to go there. He never said those things. But however, his supporters, like I said before, you are the company that you keep. You attract certain people. You attract people that are either rich, which is not a bad thing, but however, you attract rich people, you attract people that are part of hate organizations. Now that is a big issue. When you attract people of hate organizations, you have to think to yourself, what message am I sending out that are attracting these certain type of individuals? What message am I sending out that are bringing in these type of people to my platform? What am I saying that they agree with? So yes, his mouth is saying, yes, I'd have no problem with black people, gay people, women. I don't have no problem with, like I said before, fill in the blank. But however, like I said before also, your action says different. So your mouth is saying one thing, but your actions are saying something else. Okay, so I want to make it very clear. On this channel here, there is a difference. We recognize there is a difference between Donald Trump supporters, Democrats, and Republicans, and also the other parties that are within that I just don't have enough information on. I want to make it very clear that yes, there is a difference between Republicans and Trump supporters. There's a big difference. I want to make it very clear that I recognize there's a difference between the two. The question I'm going to ask now is, do I think that every person that voted for Donald Trump is racist? Now, the answer I'm going to give you is no. I do not think that every person that voted for Donald Trump is racist. Now, I know that a lot of people voted for Donald Trump because of his hate speech or his rhetoric and the secondary views that he has. And I know other people voted for him because of tax reasons, for monetary gain, for the dreams that he promised them, the dream that he sold them. I do believe that people voted for him because they feel like he could do a good job at being president. So yes, you guys that voted for him for those reasons, of financial reasons, yes, you are not racist. But however, let's get into this. Donald Trump has also, like I said before, the whole border control. He has separated families. He has put people in inhumane living conditions, put them in cages like animals. For me personally, I believe animals shouldn't even be in cages, honestly. So if it's not good for an animal, then what makes you think that it's good for a human being, that you're putting them in cages and separating them from families? And I feel like a lot of times people are not empathetic because, like I said before, we know struggle, but we don't know real struggle. We know pain, but we don't know real pain. Now, like I said before, this is for a general, average, individual citizen. I was having a conversation with my friend. Now, we were having a conversation about Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and politics and stuff like that. It was a group of us. And I'm going to speed past the whole conversation because it's kind of irrelevant for right now. But however, the point I want to get into, we start talking about border control and the inhumane living conditions. Now, I do not remember the exact number that he gave me. I'm going to say this again. I do not remember the exact number that he gave me. But the question that I was, I don't know if it was a question. It was a statement that I said was that he's putting, as in he, I mean Donald Trump is putting people in inhumane conditions, and he's separating families. And I'm just going to put a number in there. He said it only happened 4 times. Now, like I said before, it's only a number I gave, but it was a low number. I remember him saying, basically he was implying that it was only a small deal because it didn't happen to a lot of people. Now, let's just use 4 for example. He was like, oh, it only happened to 4 people. It only happened to 4 families. And my response was, that's 4 too many. So even if it happened to 200 families, out of all the people in the system for immigration, it could have been millions of people, and he could have been like, it only happened to 200 individuals, 200 families. That's 200 families too many. That's heartbreaking. Like I said before, I feel like we do not know that struggle of you coming trying to make it past border control. You're almost in the system. However, you get caught. They put you in a cage. They separate you from you and your children. They send you to the top half of Africa, and they send your children to the bottom half of Africa. Now it's your job to not only get in trouble by the legislation of Africa and probably get beaten or killed or whatever, what type of punishment that would be or whatever. And I'm just using Africa as an example. But not only that, now you have to have the problem of trying to find your children. So I'm gonna say this again. Yes, you may not be racist. You may not agree with everything that Donald Trump has done. but you only agree with the financial things he has done. But however, I'm going to say this. If you vote for him again, that is when I have to question your character, because at what point are we going to stop giving up the dollar sign to save lives? At what point are we going to put a life before the dollar bill? Because it's the same thing with the guns. We have people dying for having these guns, these machine guns. But however, they won't put a stop to it because of the dollar bill. That is the question I want to leave this commentary on. At what point are we going to start to put the life, the regular human being life, before the dollar bill? That is it for my commentary video for today, guys. Please make sure you guys pop that like button, hit the subscribe button, and please smack the notification bell so do not miss any more posts from me. And until next time, guys, I will see you guys later.